Big game on tap. Pac-12 Pate, back for one night only, to introduce you to the idea that USC and Oregon is a huge game this Saturday. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 local kick on CBS. You know what that means? That means the Fall Don't Lie Tour and Jennifer Dell on the same sideline. Some said it wouldn't happen again this season, but I held out hope, and here we are. Lincoln Riley at USC, 0-4 versus top 10 teams. Lincoln Riley at USC, 1-7 versus ranked teams on the road. Now, that speaks to the past, but if you've been watching USC this year, like I have, it's fair to say it looks like they've started to turn a corner a little bit. So, what has been doesn't always continue to be. That's got to be the theme if you're picking USC in this game. Oregon, at 10-2, if they were to drop this game, I don't think is a lock to make the playoff. I could play around with the all-state playoff predictor here, and maybe it would say they have a better than 50-50 shot. But bottom line is, their fate's not totally in their hands if they lose this game. USC's only shot to make the playoff is winning out, and that would include, obviously, winning this game. Big culture game. I don't so much say that for Oregon. Like, Oregon's pretty comfortable in who they are. They're comfortable being uncomfortable. USC, we're kind of trying to still figure out, are they, fill in the blank. Are they a team that can be physical, can go on the road, win this kind of game? We'll see how far USC has come, because that's really my biggest question. Like Notre Dame earlier this year, ran for 306 yards on them. Illinois, game we were at in Champaign, ran for 171 on them. Oregon's averaging 230 on the ground, and honestly, the last few games, like if you just look last month of the season, Oregon's probably averaged even more than that on the ground. And so USC's got the 63rd run defense in the country right now, just basic stats. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because you want to make me zoom in a little bit further than that. If I'm trying to figure out how this game's going to go, because I had to zoom in to about 30,000 feet to see those stats. And if there's nothing more to this game than that, I don't need to zoom in any further. Like it really gets academic if you can't stop the run against Oregon. They'll throw it every now and then just for fun, but it really is academic. And if they're ripping off 6-7 yards per carry, yeah, they can throw it, but it doesn't really matter. You've got to at least insert variance into the equation. Now, the thing is, sometimes you've got these ground and pound teams, and you say, we got to make them throw it to beat us. The Oregon can beat you throwing the ball, but at least if you make them throw the ball, some crazy stuff could happen. Or maybe they're throwing the ball because you found a way to score on them. So that brings me to point number 2. How would USC get in a position to make Oregon trade points? Instead of playing from behind, how do we do that? Well, you got to make this paper right here. It's 2 pieces. Here, hold on a second. There we go. That's 1 piece of paper. Sounds flimsy, doesn't it? You got to make this paper lie. So this piece of paper I'm holding right here says Oregon's got the best pass defense in the country. Do we believe it? Papers lie sometimes, even in November. 5 of the 7 Power 4 offenses Oregon has faced are 100th or worse in pass offense. So there is a world where Oregon is just that good. There's another world where they're badly overly inflated in pass D statistics because of the inferior nature of the passing attacks they faced. We saw a glaring example of this in theme last week. Remember last week I sat right here in this chair. We had Pitt versus Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame versus Pitt. Say the home team last, kids. We had Notre Dame versus Pitt coming up. And what did this piece of paper say? It said Pitt's got the number 3 run defense in the country. And what did I say? I think Notre Dame's going to run all over him because I thought the paper was lying. And it was. You saw what Jeremiah Love did. That's illegal in like 17 states. Pennsylvania not being one of them, apparently. So it doesn't really matter if the paper coming into the game said, you got the number 1 pass D in the country. Hey, really quick timeout. We'll get right back to the video. Do me one favor. Make sure you're subscribed. It helps us keep the show free. It helps us keep the lights on. It helps us keep doing college football year-round, and we appreciate it. All right, back to the video. If Lemon and Lane just go off on you, like, does it mean any less? Does it mean any more? No, it just meant what it meant. It's college football. It's not the NFL. You don't play a pro team every week where by week 12, week 13, week 14, you kind of are what your record says you are. You kind of are what your stat sheet says you are. It's college football. Crazy stuff happens from week 1 all the way to the end of the year because of how imbalanced things can be. 37 days ago, what were you doing? I was watching Indiana sort of own Oregon in Autzen Stadium. It was a shock to the senses. We all remember it. It hadn't been that long ago. I would imagine maybe even at Oregon they remember it. I bring that game up, not to drudge up bad memories for our Oregon viewers and fans. I mention that because 37 days ago, we had Mr. Surratt and Mr. Cooper there, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 for Indiana, go off for 15 catches, 179 yards, and a touchdown. And I think this pair of receivers USC's carrying up there with them are probably better, all due respect, than the dudes Indiana brought out there. And Oregon needed a defensive score to even keep that thing to within 10. So don't think for a second this couldn't happen. Now, do I think Oregon's improved? I actually think they could rev the engine right now and be one of the best teams in the country if they're healthy. More on that in a second. But there's just, I'm saying, like you think about this thing, you look at the line, it's moved all the way to 9.5. I saw 10.5 earlier today, and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, tough to see a way for USC. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's just maybe a few more routes for Oregon. The thinking, I think, on the game's inverted a little bit. So I think the casual thinking on the game would be, oh, you got to find out if USC can sort of Big Ten their way to a win. That is not what I would want to do if I were Oregon. If I were Oregon, I'd actually be begging them to play Big Ten style of football. I'd actually beg USC, hey, see if you can keep running that ball like you did against Michigan. Like you did against Nebraska, because I'm comfortable that's in my wheelhouse. And who knows, maybe I'll hold their passing game in check. But if they're going to beat me, it's going to be with those 2 receivers. It's going to be that they really, really dominated in the red zone. Like that's how they would beat me. Oregon's wide receiver health is something I'm paying attention to in this game. Because I have been of the suspicion that they may be building towards having a few more healthy hands on deck towards the end of the year. Evan Stewart, we hadn't seen him. I have no clue about Evan Stewart's availability Saturday. I wouldn't say so if I did. That would be unethical. What I will say is they've never thought they're going to lose him for the whole season. Like that hasn't been the word from up there. So if Evan Stewart has known for a while, if that staff has known for a while, we're going to get him back. This is the game you probably would have circled. Now, I don't know if he'll be able to get back, but that's just something to keep an eye on. Kenyon Sadiq, he was like a game-time decision last week. He plays, he dominates, so I think he may be the best tight end in the country right now. I watched USC go on the road to Illinois and get handled. I watched him go to Nebraska. I firmly believe they would have lost the game had Dylan Raiola not gone down with injury. I watched him go to Notre Dame. Competitive, but they ended up losing by 10. So they've got to do something that flips the script on the road in relation to what Lincoln Riley USC teams have been. And as we look at what the model thinks, FanDuel's got Oregon minus 9.5. The model's got Oregon minus 8. This thing opened at 7.5. It's gone to 9.5. So it crossed right over what the model's number was. I think Oregon's best game is still ahead of them. Now, I'm going to roll the dice a little bit, and I'm going to say it happens Saturday. So, look, I just laid it out for you. So there are routes here where I see USC. I could see USC winning the game. What do I think is more likely? That's really what the pick's all about. I think it's probably more likely Oregon wins the game. And if Oregon wins the game in the style that I believe they will, there's a chance that they bend it at the end. I don't think blowout. I just think, win the second half, 17-7 or something like that. You end up winning, and I'll take Oregon to cover. No money, no anything like that. No Ramen Noodle Express, but I will take Oregon to win and cover.